Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're talking about episode 6 of A Condition Called Love. This week we got a super fluffy Valentine's episode and a full confession from Hotaru to Hananoi. I love the fact that these two are becoming so in sync that they were both trying to bake chocolates for each other without the other person knowing. I'm also glad that they ended up baking together by the end, because the memory will be every bit as sweet as the food that they made and shared together. I can speak from experience here. This is actually one of my favorite things to do with Aragrim when we are together. It's really cool making food with someone you love, whether that's somebody you love romantically, platonically, family, friends, whoever. Food is one of those really amazing and cool things that bind us as people and that help us to build social connection and memories. So it was really beautiful to see that here. I've noticed that they've been using a lot of seasonal activities and events to highlight different memories these characters have in the show, and I've really been enjoying that aspect of it, so to see a Valentine's episode was absolutely precious. We learn a lot more about Hotaru's past and how she ended up the way that she is. I don't trust that Yao guy any further than I could throw him. The part where Hotaru claims that they were good friends, and he says something to the tune of, nah, that wasn't really true, kind of caught me off guard though. There's something weird about their past. I wonder whether we're going to see more about that in the future. I also despise that he kept calling her a different name because of his dog. Based off of my understanding of Japanese culture, which is admittedly limited, that seems like it would be a lot more insulting there than it would be here, and I'm pretty sure that most of us here would find something like that incredibly annoying. I mean, in today's world, people get really mad if you mess up their pronouns, which means that you mess something up when you're not speaking when they're present. So if people get upset about that, I mean, when you say something wrong to someone when they are present, you'd think that would be so much worse. I know that I kind of roll my eyes if someone spells my name with a C instead of a K. It's a pet peeve of mine. It's not something where I'd ever really, explode at somebody, but if that makes me mad, I can only imagine what a completely separate name that somebody didn't invite you to call them is going to feel like to Hotaru in this situation. Hananoi isn't pleased about this punk hanging around, and given the kind of personality that Hananoi has, and what we know about him, I don't fully hold that against him. What was interesting about Hananoi in this episode is that he acknowledges the way he behaves, and that he actually tried to alter it so that it wouldn't become a problem for Hotaru. I think it's really cool that we're seeing parts of him where he is aware of what's going on with him and that he's trying to shift it, but I think it's equally amazing that we're seeing the reality that she's doing the same thing, and not in the unhealthy way that he was doing at the start of the series, but rather that her opinions and feelings are changing and that her reaction to that is changing organically, which is really interesting. But Hotaru had the strength to call him out on trying to hide how he feels from her, and we get him admitting that he does worry about the idea of someone coming along who might be better for her. We actually see her thinking about this in reverse as well, and they actually end up talking about it. I think my favorite part of the episode, as far as when they were doing the cooking, is that we actually kind of get to see Hananoi in a situation where he is not fully in control, not pitch perfect. We see him with glasses, we see him with his apron all messed up, we see that he's been trying and failing something over and over again. We see that the things that he does in life aren't just instantly super easy for him, but rather that he works really hard at stuff behind the scenes, and that what people see from him at the end of it all is like the finished product after so many attempts and failures. As somebody who does a lot of artistic stuff and creative stuff like writing and crafting and that sort of thing, I can really relate to this, because the way that something is at the beginning and the way that it is at the end, when somebody sees something that's all done, is often so night and day different. So to see him dealing with that was something I felt incredibly relatable to me and that I really enjoyed. Overall, this was definitely my favorite episode of the show to date. I think that we saw the characters make fantastic progress, and the presence of the Valentines theming and making the chocolate helped give this episode an external plot, which gave it an additional boost of momentum, which is something that I often find is lacking in contemporary shows. I mean, I understand that the concept is supposed to be that it's more comfy, it's more in real life and everything, but that can kind of go against the general grain and nature of story, which usually has some sort of central conflict engine. It was great to see that there was at least something in this episode that was giving it a bit more structure and a bit more focus, and I think they did a really great job with that. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys thought of this episode, so feel free to leave a comment below and let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!